So today I'm going to talk about citric acid and how 99% of citric acid used in processed food is derived from black mold. It is also used in supplements and a whole host of other manufactured goods. So I'm going to start off first at PubMed, an authoritative source. And this particular paper is about the potential role of the common food additive manufactured citric acid in eliciting significant inflammatory reactions contributing to serious disease states, and this is a series of 4 case reports. Now, citric acid naturally exists in fruits and vegetables. However, it is not the naturally occurring citric acid, but a manufactured citric acid that is used extensively as a food and beverage additive. Approximately 99% of the world's production of MCA is carried out using the fungus Aspergillus Niger since 1919, so quite a long time. Aspergillus Niger is a known allergen. The FDA placed MCA under the category GRAS, which means generally regarded as safe, though it hasn't been essentially tested. In 2016, 2.3 million tonnes of MCA was produced predominantly in China, and approximately 70% is used as a food and beverage additive. There have been no scientific studies performed to evaluate the safety of MCA when ingested in substantial amounts or with chronic exposure. We present 4 case reports of patients with a history of significant and repetitive inflammatory reactions, including respiratory system symptoms, joint pain, irritable bowel symptoms, muscular pain, innervation following ingestion of foods, beverages, or vitamins containing manufactured citric acid. We believe that ingestion of manufactured citric acid may lead to harmful inflammatory cascade, which manifests differently in different individuals based on genetic predisposition and susceptibility, and that the use of MCA as an additive in consumable products warrants further studies to document its safety. Now, it goes on to say that manufactured citric acid is a ubiquitous substance and one of the most common food additives. Approximately 99% of the world's production of MCA is through a microbial process using predominantly a mutant strain of black mold, Aspergillus Niger. This method has been used in industry standard for the production of MCA since 1919, long before the FDA's involvement in evaluating food additives. When the FDA adopted the Food Additives Amendments in 1958, Congress excluded from the definition of food additive the common ingredients in use before 1958, including MCA. Although the FDA has studied many food additives to ensure that they are within acceptable safety parameters, certain additives were granted GRAS, generally recognized as safe status by the FDA, due to the lack of demonstrated harm over the history of prior use. Thus, MCA was considered generally regarded as safe and did not undergo any FDA evaluation. MCA is one of the most common additives used today, with applications ranging from food to non-food industries. It is estimated that 70% is used in foods and beverages, 20% in the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industry, and 10% in cleaning agents and softening agents. In foods and beverages, it is used as a flavoring, a preservative, an acidulant, and to provide pH control. The growth of the processed foods industry, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics is currently the driving force behind the rapid growth of the citric acid market globally. And so here we have, the problem is that today it is in so many foods, and we're talking about a mold product, and if you keep going on with this particular article, it talks about how we all think that it has actually come from lemons. We don't actually, it's not actually labelled manufactured citric acid. It's actually labelled citric acid on most food products, and so the consumer actually assumes it comes from lemon juice, which actually isn't the case, because 99% of it, including that, is actually manufactured from this black mold product. Now, here's an interesting part here where Curry discovered that the strains of Aspergillus Niger provided high yields of citric acid through a fermentation process using a low-cost molasses as the raw material. This system was very cost-effective and rapidly adopted. Pfizer started to produce citric acid from Aspergillus Niger in 1919, and this method is still today across the world, particularly in China. So, in the manufacturing process of this, if it was all, if MCA was all done properly, it would actually all convert to citric acid. However, there is a potential presence of impurities and fragments of Aspergillus Niger, which is the black mould. And we know that mould is particularly bad for one's health. And because mould is a living product, what happens is even if you were to get a small amount of mould, if your body was actually unable to clear it, it would actually multiply. So here it discusses this. However, the potential presence of impurities and fragments from Aspergillus Niger in MCA is a significant difference that may trigger deleterious effects when ingested. We have done several literature searches and have been unable to find any research evaluating the safety of long-term or repetitive exposure to MCA, which has become ubiquitous in processed and prepackaged foods, carbonated beverages, energy drinks, fruit drinks, nutritional supplements, pediatric and adult vitamins, confectionaries, processed dairy, common snacks, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, detergents, and cleansers. In certain common energy beverages, it is the second leading ingredient following water. We provide evidence with 4 case reports that ingestion of foods, beverages, and supplements containing MCA may lead to increased inflammation, which in susceptible individuals affects the respiratory, gastrointestinal, neurological, and musculoskeletal systems. Although MCA is an unnatural substance and is produced from Aspergillus niger, there has been a paucity of research to ascertain its safety with repetitive exposure over time. To our knowledge, this is the first scientific report revealing the potential inflammatory reactions related to the ingestion of MCA. Now, this is actually quite startling that it's taken all these years up to what we're looking at 2018 before someone has actually decided to do a study on it. And it's actually only a very small study of 4 individuals who have developed various symptoms that they've linked to the manufactured citric acid. And so they go through and discuss, and you can have a look in the actual link provided below, the various case studies as to, how these individuals reacted. I think the most interesting one is this of a case of a 43-year-old Indian woman who is otherwise healthy, but she is very health conscious. She's a vegetarian, consuming only a raw food diet, prepares her food from fresh ingredients at home. And then she begins to ingest an effervescent form of vitamin C, ascorbic acid tablets on a regular basis. And she develops a severe enervation and mental fatigue during the last 2-year period. Her medical workup for these symptoms was negative. Her symptoms limited her ability to perform her daily professional tasks as a physician. So unlike her other cases, her symptoms would develop within 2 hours after drinking the vitamin C and resolve within 8 to 12 hours. She did not consume any other medications or supplements, and so she was able to sort of ascertain that it was this particular vitamin C, and she also used a different form which didn't have the MCA in it of vitamin C, and she did not develop any symptoms. So that was a very interesting case study. So on the discussion, it talks about how Aspergillus was first described in 1729 by the Italian priest and biologist. He studied the fungus under a microscope and noted that it had the shape of an aspergillum, a holy water sprinkler, and the genus accordingly. Aspergillus niger is an asexual saprophytic fungus that is thermotolerant and can thrive in freezing conditions and very hot weather. It produces its spores in an asexual structure, and and includes several hundred fungal species, of which 16 are known to be harmful to humans, causing allergies, infections, and diseases. The 3 most common species known to affect humans are as follows. Because Aspergillus is not a reportable infection in the United States, the exact number of cases is difficult to determine. Mild allergic forms of Aspergillus are thought to be more common than the invasive form of infection. Furthermore, the incubation period for Aspergillus is unclear and seemingly varies depending on the load of Aspergillus and the individual's immune response. Aspergillus Niger is one of the most abundant species in nature, and it can grow on a large variety of substances, even in the environment with very little nutrients available. It is not as deadly as other species, but can cause sickness and allergic reactions. It is considered very harmful to those with a weak immune system and those who have a sensitive allergy to fungi. Most people can handle the inhalation of a moderate amount of it, but those who suffer from leukemia, AIDS, suppression, severe fungal allergies, and other immune deficiencies would become very sick from the intake of the spores. Allergic reactions can be severe in individuals who are allergic to fungi. So it continues, and we would just expect that, maybe perhaps a healthy individual haven't actually reached a significant toxic load for it to manifest as a disease state. But in someone that is already compromised, it is particularly harmful to them. So, the study goes on, and now I'm going to discuss it in relation to my latest article on uncensoredwisdom.com, which is parasitic fungi stealing your life. And it goes on here to say, you are not what you eat, you are what is eating you. So choose wisely your microbes and protect your cells. One of the most overlooked health issues is the presence of mold and parasitic fungi in the body. We talk about viruses and bacteria, but rarely is mold and fungi brought up, and yet these creatures are one of the most difficult to kill. They love flesh, blood, alcohol, oil, nuclear radiation, heavy metals, etc. With Aspergillus, black and green molds, yeast, candida, even able to feed off radiation alone. So basically here, I'm just going to tie this up here. You can go read the articles and the links. But what I'm suggesting here is that the citric acid that you're finding in processed food is particularly bad for you and for your overall health. We're consuming such large numbers of it. It's feeding, it's going into the body and lodging in the gut, and there is potentially contamination from the manufacturing, and you're getting Aspergillus Niger in your gut, which is then being fed by other things, and it's very, very difficult to kill. So you really need your immune, and the article actually goes into how to detoxify and so forth. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Have a read of the article. It really will change the way you look at food.